Okay, so today I'm going to make some tandoori chicken that's just going to go onto the barbecue. So you need to marinate the chicken. So for the marinade, I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of turmeric and 1 teaspoon of chili powder, and I'm going to use maybe a teaspoon of this. This is fenugreek leaves or dried methi. I'll also use about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. I'll also be using adding a teaspoon of, or half a teaspoon of salt to that. And okay, here it is mixed up. I just mixed that. So again, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, 1 teaspoon chili powder, half a teaspoon of salt, and a teaspoon of dried fenugreek leaves. And to that I'll add 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Okay, I've just added the lemon juice, and I just used this stuff here. Probably actually added about 3 tablespoons to that. So I've made this sort of a thin paste, and I'm going to add, this is just chicken thighs that I've skinned. You can use drumsticks. I've done a whole chicken plenty of time. Whatever way you want. You can also do this recipe with pork. You can use a pork shoulder or a pork loin, pork chops, whatever way you want to do it, works great. Anyway, I'm gonna okay, I've just scored the chicken thighs with a knife, just sort of to help it take on some of the flavour from the marinade. By the way, there'll be 2 marinades involved in this. This is the first marinade just. I'm going to let that marinate for an hour or 2 before doing the second marinade. Ideally, when you do the second marinade, you want to let it sit overnight. But if you can't do that, certainly let it marinate for as long as you can, a couple of hours, whatever. Okay, so the chicken is now being marinated. This is the first marinade with the teaspoon of chili powder, teaspoon of turmeric, half a teaspoon of dried fenugreek leaves or methi, half a teaspoon of salt, and about 2 or 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. So that's that marinade. And I've just sliced the chicken, as you can see. So I'm going to put that in the fridge and let it sit for a couple of hours like that, and I'll get the second marinade ready. Okay, now we're going to prepare the second marinade. So I've put in 3/4 of a cup of natural yogurt, and to that I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of chili powder, a half a teaspoon of ginger paste, this type of thing, or you could use an inch of fresh ginger, grate it. I'm going to use a half a teaspoon of coriander powder, a half a teaspoon of cumin powder, a half a teaspoon of garam masala, a tablespoon of lemon juice, and a tablespoon of tandoori masala. You can just buy that in any supermarket, tandoori powder. 2 teaspoons of dried fenugreek, and a half a teaspoon of black pepper. You can also add a few drops of red food colouring if you want. It won't do any, it's not going to make any difference to the flavour. Some people like it because it gives it that red sort of authentic colour, but it's not going to make any difference to the flavour. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and add the spices to the yogurt. So that's the spices added to the yogurt, and I'm just going to mix all that up. This is my spice box, and this is great. It just makes it all handy. You know, I have everything in this, and it takes seconds to make up a marinade. Okay, that's the second marinade made up, and it literally took seconds to do that. And the other chicken's marinated, so I'll add it to this and marinate it for a couple of hours. Ideally, you really do want to marinate it overnight, but I don't think that's going to happen in my case. I've written down the recipe here, so for the marinade. Hopefully you can all see that.